Hello, hello. Welcome back to Sunday. We're going to continue our watch along of my Simracing NOOB replays from, in this case, 2004. And a game called Grand Prix Legends. I thought I would theme the music playlist to 2004. So all of the weird and wonderful things, or albums, soundtracks, or whatever that came out in 2004, I've queued up. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I do not know. But so we did the first part of the season yesterday. So we're in season 9. Seasons have gone pretty quickly because we started with season 3. We're now in season 9. So season 3 was in Division 5. I'm now in season 9 and Division 2, so I got promoted a couple of times. And we are halfway through season 9, which is in 2004. If I look at the dates of these races, so we're pretty much now, the races are about 20 years ago. So season 9 started on the 25th of May 2004 with Spa. I didn't have a replay of Spa. Apparently I took part in the race. But it says I was 6 laps down, so I don't know what happened in that race at all. It didn't appear in the moderator's report, so I'm not sure what happened there. Then round 2 was Rouen. That was the 8th of June 2004. And then we have round 3, which was Silverstone, which was the 22nd of June 2004. And then I missed a round. I didn't take part in the Nordschleife race, which was the 6th of July 2004. And then what would be our 5th round would be at Mossport, which was the 20th of July 2004. So that was our last round that we left off, I believe. We got round 6, 7, 8, and 9 to watch today or this afternoon. And so we got Monza. I never really have a good run at Monza. Watkins Glen has always been pretty good if I don't get caught up in accidents, but it also can be pretty boring because I was never really close to anybody's pace. But the pit stops and things make it interesting. So if you don't know, pit stops for this league where the faster cars would have a timed pit stop, and the slower cars would have a shorter pit stop, so it would kind of try and balance out the field a bit. So then we got Mexico, so we've got to avoid the white polos. And then I eventually got Zeltweg to work. Now, Zeltweg, it's listed as Zeltweg, but it's actually, I think, the Österreich ring. So yeah. Let's make this window bigger. So first of all, I've had my Dr. Pepper. So I'm raring to go. I was a little depressed about the results of 20 years ago in the first few rounds because the season didn't start out great. The first race I got caught up in like turn 1 and antics, and I just kept getting caught up in other people's accidents and stuff like that. I did get penalised for an over-ambitious overtake where I just locked up. Good afternoon, Ben. We're just about to start. Silverstone, I had a cracking race, but got penalised because I apparently passed someone under a yellow flag. Didn't even know that was a rule. You're backing things up. Oh, you had computer problems. I wonder why you weren't back. So something about those drivers screwed stuff up, did it? I did wonder whether because you didn't turn up, then something had gone drastically wrong. But it was kind of scaring me that you were doing driver updates while things were running and stuff. And I was just like, ooh, that's bad. I mean, you could have gone into safe mode and uninstalled the drives and stuff, perhaps. But so that was Silverstone. We missed out, obviously, the Nordschleife round 4. Mosport was just an absolute mess. I was off the pace. I just kept spinning. It was a lonely race. Got lapped. So, is the rest of the season going to be as depressing as the first? You went on a deleting spree, which helped me even less. Yeah, don't do that. Don't delete stuff that you don't know anything about. That's a good tip. Because deleting stuff rarely makes anything better. Okay. Well, I started a bit earlier today because I know that I'm broadcasting this afternoon at 5:45, and I do want to probably at least have dinner beforehand. Or maybe I don't. I'm not really sure. I haven't quite decided. Alright, Monza, what's the worst that can happen? What the hell am I driving? I'm in a Honda. This is the first time in so season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 7 seasons that I've taken a Honda. Okay. Maybe I wanted a fast car on the straight, but didn't want to deal with pit stops. Yeah, what were you thinking is probably a good thing, because I'm not sure this is going to go very well. And again, I don't know what happens in this race. So up front, I think there's obviously some people here that we don't know about, that we can't see because of replays. So Noel Kellett is in the Ferrari, and Andrew Hodgson, I think, is in second in a Ferrari. Paul Adams, my teammate, is in a Brabham. Then we have Paul Skingley, who's had a nightmare of a season. Every time I've gone to his car, he's been spinning or something. He's in a Ferrari. Then we've got Jacob Schmidt in a Honda. Then you've got me in a Honda. And then you got Baz West behind me in a Honda. And you got Paul Bird behind me in a Honda. So, Honda. Yeah, let's, oh gosh. It's the worst that can happen. I've never got through turn 1 unscathed at Monza, so this will be an absolute miracle. Oh, a good reaction, good start. Unfortunately, got a bit of wheel spin, and I put off the person behind me, and then I exit stage right. Don't know what happened there. We're going to get through turn 1. We're going to get through turn 1. Right, we got away from the line in 10th place. I'm trying to make a move into Lesmo 1. Keeping it tight. Look at all those Hondas. So I lost ground to all of those Hondas. Every single one of them. We've got a run on... it's Baz West we're battling. In the Honda in front of us. Defensive up here. Let's see if we can get him down into Parabolica. We're going to have a double dip of draft. How are we on the brakes in the Honda? Not too bad. Oh, there's a Ferrari. That'll probably be Paul Skingley. Not too bad. There we go. I'm shocked. Maybe I've been doing it wrong all along. Maybe if I was in a Honda all the other times, I would have had a I would have had a better start. So, wow. But we'll see if this Honda train is going to work out. So, it's Paul Bird in front of me. I couldn't get past Paul Bird at where was it that he was holding me up? I think it was Rouen, wasn't it? I got caught up in his accident. So we're gaining on Paul Bird. Let's go on board. So where are we braking in the Honda? Just after that advertising board. Oh, only just got it stopped though. I just saw a Brabham go straight on in the background. It's like a bit of stalemate at the moment, doesn't it? So we've got 21 laps of Monza. So lap 3, we did a 130.7. Kev Williams done a 128.9, so he's probably in an Eagle, Lotus, Ferrari. Got a bit of a run coming up to the Lesmos. We went a bit shallow. As we lose a bit of momentum, we're up to 8th place. This is probably gonna, if it stays like this, I think this is probably be my best Monza finish. But I'm keeping up with the pack as well, which is good. But it's only going to be the pack of what? So 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Probably the top 3 have scampered away. Good run out the Parabolica, stay in the draft. I mean, I'm chasing somewhere where I don't have a car advantage now, so it is a little bit of stalemate. That Ferrari and that Eagle are really having a bit of a ding-dong. Let's turn. Nice. Can we stay and get a run up to the Lesmos? Do we pull out? The battle behind is intense as well. We're going to pull out again and brake. This time we're going to make it work. Oh, we're not. We fucked it. I suppose that's payback for Rouen, really, when he completely screwed it. Did I just jinx it from 20 years ago? I think I did. So I've got to do a stop and go because that was completely my fault. Although, let's have a look at it again. I mean, I would blame myself from instinct because it did look like I ran a bit wide. Let's have a look at chase cam. So I was in the inside, completely locked up. Yeah, I was drifting wide. Look, I mean, a bit of netcode. Look, it didn't even look like we made contact, but I was drifting wide. I think I probably wouldn't have made the corner if the car wasn't there. Although I would have gone wide. Let's put it that way. So, yeah. From hero to zero. So we're gonna have to go into bits, do a stop and go, and probably be back with him as well. Oh no, it's going from bad to worse. It's going from bad to worse. And there's Paul Bird. Do I pit? Do I pit? Do I pit? I don't pit. Ooh, is that bad? The moderator is not going to look kindly on me, is he? Although, I mean, I spun and let Paul through, but still. If that is Paul. No, so that's Paul Adams. That's my teammate in front of me. So, yeah, that is Paul Bird. I mean, I've penalised myself. I mean, I can't blame the Honda. It was me that locked up the tyres. Now I'm all on my own. At the back. I was hoping to feel less depressed than I did yesterday. Seemingly, I've just not got a handle on this Honda. It is just beating me on the brakes. Now do I decide to pit? Now, is this for my stop and go, or is this for... Right, this is my actual pit stop. So the Honda is going to be quite... I would say that's probably about 7 seconds or so. Strange considering how fast it is at Monza. Well, not strange considering how fast it is at Monza. So, 13th. I was hoping for a better... So that's Andy Harrison in front of us. But the likelihood of us seeing anybody for the rest of the race is very, very slim. I'm just not getting this break in, am I? I'm all over the place. And maybe this is me overanalyzing it, because probably this stable under the brakes on any car, but are we going to do Parabolica without spinning this time? We are. Good. I don't know what that big banner is, because I can't see it. It must be a glitch. You don't see it from that perspective. So... I suppose it might be worth looking to see if there's an updated Monza that updates the original track, because this is just from the installer. So. Oh, that looks like that brother must have had a bit of a whoopsie. I mean, maybe I thought that in the Honda, I can't beat him, join him kind of attitude. It just seems very strange for me to go to a completely different car. Maybe I just needed a change of scenery, but it just hasn't worked. I should have just stuck with my trusty Ferrari, Brabham, or Cooper, you know. Or maybe this is the part of the season that I just said, you know, screw it, let's just try anything. So watch this space with with the cars I'm about to be in for the last 3 rounds of this season. I mean, I'm nowhere in the championship. There's only been a couple of rounds where I have actually scored. But I'm chasing Mr. Harrison. I'm still solidly in the 130s. There goes a Honda engine. This is Mosport all over again. Time for a Dr. Pepper. Now, I remember 2004, there were a few things that happened in 2004 in my personal life. From the dates, I mean, we haven't got there yet. There's a stop and go as penance. Anything after Factor 2 should back up. Pretty much you use a data folder. Which I think has does that have the replays in it? Yeah, you use a data folder with the replays, I think. I mean, you can. It's, you know, you've still got your subscriptions on Workshop, so they will re-download when you yeah, so the entire user data folder, because that will be everything. That will be your player folders, that will be all your config files, so all of the user data folder. I mean, you could back up the installed folder, because it will keep what you have installed, and it will resync. So I guess this is second place coming to lap me. This is Strudwick, the person that keeps falling off the track. But he's coming to pass me, or coming to lap me rather. No, he isn't. He's going into a pit stop. We're going to stay 13th. So, who have we got ahead of us? We've got Kev Williams. That's the leader. And then we've got Andy Harrison. So, there's 2 Lotuses there. One of them's 12th place. So, Rick Bryant has come out the pits after his pit stop in front of me. Oh dear. I don't know whether you should probably back up the plugins folder as well. I don't know whether you were running any particular plugins, but it would just help with reinstalling, so that it goes back to the state you had it with Tiny Pedal and such. But I mean, Parabolica and this Honda are just not best friends. I suppose you want to back. I don't know what you do with the Tiny Pedal, where you put it, but you might want to back up that because it has all its settings in it. Oh, I forgot. Yummy! I wanted to find the sound file of Short Circuit where he repeats the Dr. Pepper line, but I don't have it on DVD or anything, and I doubt there's going to be a clip of it that I can record. Right, nearly half distance. We can get rid of this depressing race. Plugins in the bin64 folder, because the support one is the that's the for the modding tools. See, it's what happens when I'm alone on track, it seems. I've still got that inability to kind of set my own pace. See, this is why I've always, for many years, had separate hard drives for all of my extra stuff. So if the system goes kablooey, then all I need to do is reformat the system drive. I mean, I'd need to reinstall all the apps that were installed in Windows, but that's neither here nor there. All of my games and stuff are on separate hard drives. I used to, when the hard drives were quite expensive, it used to be partitions. So I used to have a game. Was that another blown engine? I swear! That's it. That's it. I've given up. I rage quit. I rage quit. I wondered why that race was quite short. Wow. I think I maybe thought I'm not going to get any further up the field, so I thought, fuck it. I was not in a good place in 2004, it seems. Okay. Do your worst. Moderator, do your worst. I can't get any lower. Right, so, Monza, the 3rd of August, 2004. Won by Kev Williams. Second place, Steve Smith. Martin Portman is third. Andrew Hodgson, my teammate, is in fourth. Stephen Strudwick fifth. Although Stephen Strudwick got 2 penalty points. He always seems to get penalty points. I got 2 penalty points and ended up 14th. So I'm not going to be in the lap 1 melee, which is cool. Right, lap 4. Enwood attempts to outbrake P-Bird into first Lesmos, leaving his braking a little too late. Stay on the inside and just into Paul. Penalty. Over-optimistic passing attempt. 2 places lost. So I got docked 2 places, even though I didn't finish. I was 10 laps down, because I thought there was only, what? How many runners? There was only 13 runners, so I was only going to lose 1 place, and I was out of the points. So I completely gave up. So I didn't feature in any of the rest of it because I didn't complete it. Okay, on to Watkins Glen. So Watkins Glen is the 17th of August. Right. I mean, I'm at my lowest. Can I get any lower? Let's just put it that way. Surely it can't get any worse than that race. I mean, the next one, so Monza was 51 minutes, so the fact that Watkins Glen is 1 hour and 11 probably means I finished the race. Yeah, I mean, I've got a memory stick that's attached to my keys that has got more memory on it than some of my older hard drives, which is nuts. Okay. Now, I've normally done very well at Watkins. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Right, we're back in our trusty Ferrari. We thought, fuck it, that experiment didn't work. We want to have a good race this time. So I believe I must be second on the grid. I think. Because I don't think there's going to be someone appearing ahead of me. But we will see. Oh, we've got 33 laps of this. I don't know why I'm revving my engine so high. Okay. So Stephen Strudwick got pole. And he's in a Lotus. God damn it. He's going to be all over the place. Right. Noel Kellett is behind me in a Ferrari. And then we've got Paul Harris directly behind me in a Cooper. We then have Paul Bird at the back. I don't know where all the other cars are, but we don't really care. Let's see what let's do it from... It's pity we can't see the flag man. I mean, let's look at it from the flag man. I want to see what kind of start I get. Bit of wheel spin. Are we going to get up the inside? Not quite. Not quite. But we are directly behind Stephen Strudwick. Are you going to pull out? You are going to pull out. Have it. Yeah. No. I thought that was him slipping off the track, but it wasn't. Back in my trusty Ferrari. To possibly have that 20-second pit stop or whatever it is and get beaten by the Coopers. See, sometimes the depressing thing was that you can be trying your utmost hardest in a Ferrari or Brabham or whatever, and the guy in front in a Lotus could be making all the mistakes in the world, but he could still be faster than you. So like the guy in front is he's going wide, he's generally all over the place, but he's still quicker. Obviously there's that thing in the back pocket that says, well, he's probably going to have 10 seconds more in the pits than me. So as long as you can stay with him, you'll be fine. I mean, this started out pretty well. So I can see that Cooper lurking in the background there. He's obviously going to be passing all of us when the pit stops come. So we're down to the 106s already, which is a good sign. Whoa, how close do you want to get to the arm glow? Jeez. I did actually think of putting like titles on the top to give it some kind of context to what we're watching, but maybe I'll do that for next season. So I'm probably gonna with some of the other cars. Well, I don't know what all the other cars behind me were. Whether they were Coopers or what. I can only see the top four is pretty much broken away from the rest of the pack. But to stay on the podium is going to be quite difficult, even though I'm in second place at the moment. But the hope is, I think normally pitting half distance is the thing, but you would hope that if you're stretching out a lead to the cars behind, you just keep going. You pit as late as possible. Use all that advantage. But it didn't say in the rules that there was a pit window specifically. I didn't know whether you had like... Because you remember that race that I won at Silverstone? The leader pitted on the last lap. But that was a couple of seasons ago. Oh, the lofty days of when I used to be finishing on the podium. Now, not so much. But it's a pretty lonely second place. I'm in that bubble of not being quick enough. And we're now down to the 105s. But the leader has gone. And I'm just being shadowed by what I think is Noel Kellett. Still, I can see this second, third and fourth in the same camera shot. So I'm not dropping them. I just love the flow of this circuit. I mean, there's been like a different interpretation of this layout in the Assetto Corsa version, as I said, where Sergio Loro was... I don't know what his research behind the layout was, because it's much narrower. It feels different. Some of the radiuses of the corners are a little bit different, so it doesn't flow the same as this. But some of the Grand Prix Legends tracks probably aren't that accurate. Because we're thinking about 1998. You know, no access to LiDAR data or anything like that. Although they, you know, back then they probably had maybe more access to, or maybe less access to information, because the internet wasn't really kind of big. Hard to tell, really. But they were kind of restricted with their track making tools. They couldn't do anything really imaginative. It seems like they had certain restrictions with the engine, I'm thinking. It's not like you just build any 3D track in a 3D software and then plonk it in Grand Prix Legends. It just seemed to be like a... So we're actually pulling away from that Ferrari. Still in the 105. It's always good when you can stay in the 105s. Never really got down. I never got down to the 104s. I think I got close to the 104s, but never broke. Never got that far. Oh, now I'm first place. Did he just come off the track then? Yeah. Or that's an early pit stop. So he's at turn 1 and we're at turn 4? That might be an early pit stop. So I think the strat is that obviously if you want to stretch out as much gap as possible, you leave it late, leave your pit stop late. But if you're struggling to hold on to a place, perhaps you might want to pit early. So when the field is bunched together, you won't lose as many places. I'm guessing. I don't think we're going to come away with the win, though. Because there's that Cooper just lurking in the background, ready to steal it. So if we look back at the Cooper, so there's Noel Kellett, there's Paul Harris. So Paul Harris is in the 106s, he hasn't broken into the 105s. So, oh, we're coming in early. Lap 9 of 33. Does this prove to be bad? Let's see how long we stop for. I think it's going to be 20 seconds. It's either that or 25. So that's 10 seconds. It's like an eternity. There you go, that's 20 seconds. Now what's my pit entry going to be like? There we go, not too bad. So we've come out... Oh, so Honda going backwards. Yikes. Right, so we've come out in what I think is 9th place. Did we beat the Lotus out? I don't think we beat the Lotus out. No, the Lotus has passed us through the pit stops. So, It's a very early pit stop. I suppose it gives me time to catch up now. Got to use the pace I got in the car. Right, so we're chasing Kev Williams. So I think Kev Williams has stopped. No, we're chasing Paul Bird again. So Paul Bird is someone we knocked out the last race. We don't want to be rear-ending Paul Bird. But we also don't want to be held up by Paul Bird. That's a good exit onto the straight. Stay in the slipstream. You're going to have to really go some around the outside. I'm ahead. There we go. First position gone. Up to 8th. Right, our next victim is Kev Williams in the Cooper. Can we fight back towards the podium? We were only slowed by 1 second trying to pass Paul Bird. And it was only for a lap, so... We're not even at half distance either. So I've got 2/3 of the race to go. To do all the catching up. Whoa. Bit squirrely into the last turn. Can I even... I think I can probably see Kev Williams a little. Oh, yellow flag. Looks like someone slipped off the banking there. So I can see my prey. I mean, through these first few turns, you can get... It seems you can get the wheels slip. If you're kind of on the edge of traction, you can kind of flick the car from left to right. As long as it doesn't break traction too much. We are catching this Cooper, who's making all kinds of mistakes. We're now up to 7th, so we passed someone through the pit stops. And I think I remember as well that obviously if I was on the Microsoft Force Feedback, the pedals had no real resistance to them at all. I think the G1025 brake pedal had a little bit of resistance, so you could, you know, be a bit more accurate on the judging the braking. Oh, there's another car as well. Not quite got back into the 105s though. Looks like one car going in the pit. There's a Lotus going in the pits. Is that Noel Kellett? That is Noel Kellett. We beat Noel Kellett out of the pit stops. So I think this Cooper ahead is for overall position, I think. I think this is the one that was behind Noel Kellett at the pit stops. Maybe not, because I think he's maybe had a couple of mistakes that's dropped him back. So we've actually may have retained our position, but I'm really unsure whether I'm going to get back to second. Oh no, Kev is pitting. So we're up to fourth. And I can see a car ahead. Steve Smith is in a Cooper. Now that's probably... Steve Smith was probably quite far back. So I'm wondering if he maybe has pitted and this is the pit stop advantage, you can see. But we're lap 17 of 33, so we got time. Oh no, we're third, look. So we're possibly chasing Steve Smith down for second place overall. So I'm on the podium. But we've got 16 laps to do it. So I'm in the 106s, but I do drop into the 105s ever so often. Steve Smith is in the 107s. His best lap is a 106. So I've got the pace advantage. Am I going to run out of laps? Swings in roundabouts though, doesn't it? Good race, bad race. Good race, bad race. Kind of. Although there was 2 races that were worse. So Mossport and Monza were nightmares. And then we finally get our act together and have a good race. Coincidence? I'm back in the Ferrari? Don't know. I wonder whether I would have been good enough in the Cooper. I mean, you don't have that straight line speed advantage to overtake around the outside after the big bend. Nor do you have the advantage coming up the straight here. There's a Honda there. That's the lap car of Baz West in 11th. Just ahead of him is Steve Smith. So hopefully Baz is kind to us. Looks like Baz is trying to unlap himself, eh? So I don't know whether we actually see blue flags in the replay. Must have to be quite close to get a blue flag. Because the flagman's not doing anything at the moment. Just done our fastest lap of the race, 105.69. Nice. Don't hold us up, Baz. We want to get to second place. What are you doing, Baz? What are you doing? What are you doing? That was a bit awkward. See our prey. Lap 21 of 33. The laps are counting down. We are less and less time. I mean, we might be able to catch him, but can we pass him? That's the thing. We passed one of the last cars around the outside of turn 5, I think it was. Of uncomfortable gear changes there. I can see the needle on 11,000 RPM. Can't be banging off 11,000 RPM too much. And it looks like the needle is whacking up to 11,000, so my gear changes are not the best. Not lifting off enough. Around some of the turns, anyway. Alright, we've caught him. Can we pass him? Now, Kev Williams has always been around about the top 3 in most of the races so far. Needs smoother gear changes like me. But you see that most of my gear changes, particularly in Grand Prix Legends, I tend, and I think I've got this habit in like future sims as well, is to let the revs drop quite low, then do my gear changes, because if the revs do peak when you do your blip, you don't, it doesn't go as far. But obviously, if you get the timing of your lift on upshift wrong, you can accidentally make the revs just suddenly flick up. Right, where can we pass? So first opportunity is up here. God, look at the draft. First opportunity. We're going to take it, but do we feel scared on the inside? We do. Now I'd be too scared to even get close to the limiter. But we had to fight for that to get back our position. So was an early pit stop the strategy? Didn't it mean we had more time to fight back to get back to second place? I mean, we're on lap 25, so we had time in hand. I mean, we're coming up to the big bend. Strudwick is coming through the last turn, so I remember my Momo towards the end of its life, its brake was dragging. So I adapted my driving for around 6 months or so to have a left foot under the brake pedal to stop it. I remember, obviously, before you got your Formula 1 wheel, you loved the trucking stance. And it was, I thought it was really, it was affecting your driving, because in a racing car you do not have a trucking, what do you call it? You don't hold the wheel like, one hand on 2 and the other on 7, you know? Because if you want to opposite lock, you need to know where your hands are going to be. So if you turn to the right, your hands are in a certain position. If you turn to the left, your hands are in a position. So you kind of want that equality of turning to the left or right. So each turn is the same either direction. And I think now what you're struggling with is hairpins, because now your hands are stuck in the I suppose they're in the 9 and 3 position now. To do a proper Monaco hairpin, you probably need to either cross your arms or have one arm off and pull the steering wheel around more. I don't know what they do in Formula 1, whether they have like the like a low speed, because I still think it's mechanical, isn't it? It's not steer by wire, I don't think. I mean, maybe they have a quicker steering rack at Monaco, perhaps. But the rim I've got, my Ferrari rim is all the way round. It's a round wheel. But even though it's a round wheel, I tend to keep my hands in the same position. No, Steve Strudwick is back in the lead. So we passed Steve Smith. It wasn't Kev Williams, sorry. Kev Williams was the one that pitted in front of us in a Cooper, but Steve Smith, through the pit stops, was able to jump up the order, but we passed him. So wherever Kev Williams came out, I don't know, but he was further down the field, which is a little bit unusual in Season 9 because he's always been at the top. And I think he even won at Monza, so maybe Watkins Glen just isn't his thing. But what I may like to do, because obviously you know me being a list maker and all, what I may like to do when I'm finished watching all of these races, to go back and actually draw up some stats and things. You know, what were my best circuits? I know the simracing.org website does have my total stats of wins and stuff like that. So I think if I'm remembering right, so far I've got, it's either 2 or 3 wins. Because I'm always forgetting that one that I got disconnected from. So I've at least got 2. So the one in season 3, and then the one in Silverstone that I got the lead on the last lap. But I think there's been one more, but I can't remember what it was. But wins were very hard to come by, especially when I was driving so badly, like in Monza. Right, so lap 30 of 33. Watkins always seems to be like a little flurry of activity, and then you're on your own for a lot of it. It just seems to be what it's like. Things get spaced out very quickly. Now this year, I was hoping to be able to earn some extra cash. If I was able to earn some extra cash, I would have put down a subscription for 3DS Max. And I would start my learning again. To try and make some content. Although I do suffer from motivation with that kind of stuff. I come up against something a bit hard and I just go, no, I don't want to do it anymore. So lap 31 of 33. I mean, I did start doing watching tutorial videos on Blender, so I learnt the real basics of Blender, but then I took a break from watching them and I never went back to it. It's very, very difficult for me to keep up the motivation to learn new stuff. Now, we learnt our lesson from the first rounds at Watkins, so we've put in more fuel, because we did 2 rounds where one we ran out of fuel about here and crawled over the line, and there was one when we ran out of fuel coming down the back straight. Hello there. We were just finishing off what would be the 7th round. So this is the penultimate lap. So as I said at the start of the stream as well, I decided, because obviously these races are from 2004. So in 2004, I was 25 years old, if I've done my maths correctly. Yes, I was 25 years old. So I've got my music playlist. Whoa, steady on there. Set 2004, because that's when these races were set. So we've been racing for 36 minutes. Looks like I'm losing a bit of concentration near the end. Don't screw it up now. So, is that Paul Bird? It is Paul Bird. I mean, he's been lapped, so he doesn't need to do an extra one. There's a yellow flag somewhere. Why is there a yellow flag? Is it just because people have come off at the line or something? And there we go. Second place. Second place. Whoa. Do I do any donuts? No, no donuts for you. No donuts for you. Well, bounced back at Watkins Glen to have an actual race where we did well. Okay, let's look at the results of this round. So Watkins Glen, it was Philip Harris that came away with the win. Why? What happened to Stephen Strubwick? Why is he down in 9th? What's happened? And he started 4th and ended up 1st. And of course he's in a bloody Cooper. So we 13 seconds behind at the end. Why is Stephen Strudwick down in 9th? Maybe he had another accident. Oh, look. Stephen Strudwick shift R's after a blown engine, but does not stop and go until lap 14. A stop and go must be taken within 2 laps of an incident for it to be taken into account. He had 15 seconds added to his time. But that doesn't... Why is he a minute behind? Bias makes a shift R on the final lap and does a stop and go just before crossing the finish. Given the unusual nature of chat with the start and finish after the exit of pit lane, I'll allow this with no third penalty. I mean, it was a pretty faultless race. But it's still a little depressing that Philip Harris was able to come from 4th to win. But what can you do? 20 years later. Right, so this is that was the 17th of August 2004. The next race is Mexico City, which is the 31st of August 2004. Now, Mexico has always been a good hunting ground. Bring on the polo mints, indeed. There's been a couple of rounds where I got involved in start line incidents. I've had incidents at turn 1 where I've just not judged it very well. So it's 1:03 long, so it might look like I'm able to finish this race. Alright. What did we decide to take? Did we go for horsepower? Or did we go for less pit stop time? I'm presuming we went for a Ferrari. Oh, I've just seen where the... I've just spoiled it for myself because I've just seen at the top that it does say what car I'm in. So no guessing. Right, okay. We're near the front-ish. I just saw the pole man disappear. Right, okay. I don't know who's on pole. I assume it's a Lotus or something. So Kev Williams in the Eagle this time. So third place is Ian Pollock in the Eagle. We have Noel Kellett in the Ferrari. we have Philip Harris in the Cooper. So Philip is probably going to pull another blinder. And then you've got me in the Ferrari. So hopefully we'll get ahead of Philip Harris at the start. We've then got Andy Harrison in the Lotus, so he's going to streak to the front. Baz West in his usual Honda. So I wonder who is actually... Now I pressed the wrong button. Whoops. I pressed the wrong button. Let's do that again, shall we? Right, take 2. Right, can we get a view of the start line? We can't. Do we want to go on board or do we want to go chase cam? We'll go chase cam for this. So we start in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, I think. Good start, bit too much wheel spin. Runs over the flag man. So it's a Ferrari on pole. Right, we're grabbing places like they're freebies. Coming up to turn 1. We've got a monster toe from the Eagle in front. We're a bit restricted. Oh, both Ferraris go wide, understeer wide. We've got one of them. Another one goes wide. We're up to 3rd. We're going for 2nd. What a blinder! What an absolute blinder! Second. And we got ahead of the Cooper, which we wanted. Now we won't, unless we have a pace advantage over that Eagle in front, he can probably pull out 5 seconds or so, because there's probably not an awful lot in between a Ferrari pit stop and an Eagle pit stop. But obviously just need to pull away from these guys behind. So this is a 20 laps. So that Eagle behind has pretty much ruined his strategy by understeering wide. We're going to the inside to break the toe. The Eagle was able to drive past that Cooper in turn 1. So who is it in the Eagle behind us? That's Ian Pollock behind us. In the lead is Kev Williams. So staying ahead of this Eagle would be really advantageous. So fastest lap so far is 156.5. We did a 158.1. So we don't have a pace advantage on the car in front. I'm just hoping that I don't get run over. We seem to be in a good rhythm. Just got to be careful for overdriving these left and right turns, I think. I mean, I started 6th and I was 2nd by the turn 2, so stonker of a start. Kind of mainly due to picking up freebies, but Still pretty cool. Am I going to feel the need to break the toe for the eagle? Ooh, slight bit of oversteer coming out of the final turn. Going to break the toe again. I don't know whether I'm going to get penalised for doing that. It's not like I'm blocking. I always feel like that Pepsi sign is a little out of place with the 60s. I think that eagle ahead has possibly pulled out around 5 seconds. With understeer coming out of there. Don't rear end me, eagle. Please. See, we're getting over to the right hand side quite quickly. Oh, that's worked to our advantage. Brilliant. We did cut that corner quite a lot. It does seem you can go over the grass there a little. Oh, it's been passed by the Cooper. That's working brilliant for me. So is this going to be a copy of Watkins Glen? We're in second place, and then we've got to spend the whole race trying to earn our second place back. Do we end up pitting early or late? There's always a fear in that final turn, because it isn't just a case of accelerating around that final turn on full throttle. You've really got to balance it. And obviously you get it wrong, you can maybe hit the Armco square with both front and rear wheels. But it's not the best exit to turn one. The last turn rather. Onto the main straight. Because it's like I'm leaving quite a lot of leeway. Right, fastest lap 148.5. I've done a 149.5, so I'm losing a second lap. A lap. So, if we come out of our pit stop. Ooh, that wasn't a good hairpin, was it? There's now a Ferrari ahead of an Eagle. So who is this Ferrari? This is one of the ones that understeered at the start. Oh no, it's Strudwick. It's Strudwick. I think Strudwick has pretty much got a penalty in every single race so far. Cooper is hanging on to me. So unfortunately we're going to be passed by this Cooper in the pit stops. I'm understeering quite a lot coming into that turn. You can still hear that Eagle coming up the straight before me. Breaking the toe. I'll use every advantage I can. It's another one of those turns where you have to brake and turn at the same time. Yeah, Philip Pesky Harris. He's not going away. And he's possibly going to pass the Eagle ahead in the pit stops as well. So in the 49s, and imagine that Philip is still... He's pretty much matching me. Oh, it's the case of Stephen Strudwick again. It's another one of those drivers that you you're very wary of because they're quick, but they don't really have the racecraft to match up with it. But the more that Strudwick can hassle that Cooper, the better. Let me get away a little. I don't know why I was jerking to the right there. I mean, one of the advantages I've got is that even if the Cooper gets in the tow, I don't know whether it'll be able to pass down the straight. So I've got the horsepower advantage. So sometimes taking the faster car with a little bit of a horsepower advantage to make up for the ability to pass. Right, lap 6 of 20. When am I going to pit? When am I going to pit? I'm solidly in the 149s. But so is the car behind, who is being absolutely hassled. I seem to be better at this part of the circuit than they are. As long as I don't hit any of those polos. Don't curse it now. Philip Harris seems very handy in the Cooper. So much understeer coming into that turn. I seem to take a lot of speed. Gosh. I got very close to the Armco. Breaking the toe again. I wonder if I'm going to be annoyed by the moderator support if he's going to mark me up for breaking the toe. Putting it down to unsportsmanlike driving, perhaps. You see how I should be taking this turn wider than that? I should be, you know, fully over that white line, but I'm not. Whoa! On the loud pedal. Well, the Ferrari is past. But he's hitting barriers and stuff. It's only a matter of time before he hits me, I think. He's going to go for a gap that does not exist. You can sometimes spot drivers that are so focused on your rear end that they forget there's the rest of the track to race on. So I sometimes call them drivers that just chase your back wheels. They're like a dog, a terrier, that just chase your back wheels all the time. They don't know how to pass. So their car positioning is sometimes a bit lacking. Gone to defend. Shit, he was able to sweep around the outside and cut in front of me before turn 1. Yikes. So we'll be lucky to hang on to a podium here then. Let's Let's hope that Strudwick falls off the road. So he was able to have... He had the overspeed to go into turn 1. And just sweep right into turn 1. But I mean, I don't really know what happened to Watkins Glen. I thought he was actually in the lead. Maybe I'll... Or maybe dropping all the way back in the Lotus hurt him. So he was back in the pack and he couldn't pass anybody and just couldn't make any progress, perhaps. Oh, it's side by side. I think possibly I'll be lucky to hang on to the top 5. So the Cooper is in the tow, but he's not gaining anything. Right, lap 9 of 20. So it seems to be sector 2 where I've got the legs on the Cooper, but he does catch me through the final turn. But you can maybe kind of guarantee that even if he catches at the end of sector 3, he's not going to pass into turn 1 because he hasn't got the straight line speed. So it's these types of things that I think about when I'm racing. Oh, the loud pedal. So I'm always thinking, like, are they feasibly able to get past? So I sometimes look at the intervals and see how much they gain when they are in the draft. Because I know sometimes that... I suppose it's thinking about the... I was going to say, it's thinking about the meta of it. But in some sims, you know that you only need to be like 0.6 of a second behind. Oh, Philip's gone. Yeah! That's going to work to my advantage. So we just need to pull out a bit of a gap. So you think for definite, you look at the gap and see how much it comes down when there are certain distance behind. So if someone's like 0.5, so I did this in the GT3s when I was trying to judge how close someone was able to get. So I looked at someone drafting me down the Fuji main straight, and I looked at them and said, well, they're 0.5 behind. How much do they gain down this long straight? And if they don't gain anything significant enough to get alongside, then I know that I'm safe, so I don't need to defend. If we come onto the straight and they're 0.3 behind, then I might consider defending into turn 1 because they will probably gain 0.2 and be able to have a go, you know? So a bit of breathing room with that Cooper. I mean, even though it looks like I'm a bit of a scrappy lap here and there, I'm still in the 49s. I'm kind of up and down in the 49s, but I'm in the 49s. There is a version of Mexico for R Factor 2. It's a bit on the bright side because I don't think it's been graphically updated in a while, and I kind of wanted to use it as a graphical test bed for doing graphics updates. I mean, we have like the 1967 tracks basically, apart from Watkins Glen. I'm now on my own. are now in first place, so first and second have pitted. So Philip Harris is coming down. So that's Kev Williams coming out of the pits, whilst I'm in the... I can't even see Strudwick. So either Strudwick has disconnected or he's just not in range, which is a bit strange. That rhymes. He has before. Yeah, you're right. So do I think about pitting from first place? So I was hoping to see, there might have been a Cooper there coming into view, but I didn't see him. Alright, we're pitting half distance. So we stop at 08. We're probably going to leave the pits at 28. So that's Philip Harris coming in front of me. He's already gone. That's an Eagle that's just gone past. So that's the leader. Oh, it's 25 seconds I'm in the pits. Right, so Philip Harris is coming down the main straight as I leave the pits. Strudwick has resumed in first place. Well, we're now down to fourth, basically. Yes, we're fourth. So we have a Cooper to catch. Not if we do this. Right, we can see him. So we have 8 laps to catch a Cooper. It's the same as Watkins, isn't it? No, because it was Steve Smith we were chasing. But it's the same car. Got to chase down a Cooper. Ferrari. And there's the Cooper. The end problem is we haven't got a pace advantage on the Cooper. So that's a problem. So fourth place might be where we sit. We're not really troubled by the Honda of Baz West behind. I think I've become so fearful of the polos, the concrete polos, that I give them quite a wide berth, because as soon as you hit one of them you end up hitting more. So I think this is a pretty solid drive. I mean, I started in 6th place. The fact that I made up all of those places at the start was an advantage, so I got track position. But I mean, they had qualified ahead of me for a reason. But I mean, the fact that Kev Williams had pulled out enough of a gap to be able to pit stop and still stay ahead, but I don't know how much of an advantage that a Ferrari had over it. If I had to stop for 25, then an Eagle probably had to stop for 30. But or it may be close. It may even be like they had to stop for 27. I think there is a list of pit stop times on the results, the season standing page, but I daren't look because I don't want to spoil myself with the results. But this is the final round before the add-on track of the season. So every season they would do some default tracks and then they would do one add-on track. Now it's been Snetterton before. I think it's been Alton Park before. But this time it is Zeltweg, but it's not the Zeltweg we're thinking of. It's actually listed as Zeltweg, but it's actually the Oostenrijkring. So I can actually delete the other versions of Zeltweg that I installed to try and get that version installed. But we will see. And we could kind of tell that maybe the versions of the Zeltweg that we installed actually came out after I competed in this race. After I competed in this season. So it wouldn't have been nosed at all anyway. And it's been, what, 6 years since this game came out at this point? So this is 2004. Game came out 1998, 1999, something like that. I mean, it was pretty much a shocker. The state of the game graphically, if it stayed like that, it wouldn't have aged very well. I mean, the fact that the community behind this was able to, you know, bang it into shape, so to speak, actually make the cars look a bit more realistic. And the tools they had back then were very primitive, so they did a stunning job. But I would still love a historic Grand Prix sim. But I haven't won the lottery yet, so I can't fund it. I mean, how do you market something like that? Because obviously we're talking about, you know, I'm 45 and I wasn't even around when these cars were driving. If you were born in 67, you would be 60 years old by now. Is that right? 58? Have I done my maths correctly? Yeah, you would be 58. And I mean, you can't market this video game to 58-year-olds. And I mean, to see these cars, or to even be interested in these cars in your youth, you would be about 70. And you can't market a game specifically to that age range. It's not gonna happen. I know that obviously because people that are 70 years old that have been kind of keeping up with PCs and computers and what have you, they would have the knowledge, and that they may even We were lucky there. Oh, I'm in third. I'm in third. Who dropped off the track? Was it Stephen Strudwick? It was. Karma. Or something. So Stephen Strudwick is back there. He must have dropped off the track. Or he's blown another engine. So I'm coming down to the... Is this the hairpin? So he's coming down to the hairpin. So I've got enough in hand. So he's doing 1:47. So he's closing on me 2 seconds a lap. But he's only got 4 laps to close in. We may be on the podium again. But are we going to get the podium taken away? Because the moderator might look at my weaving on the straight as unsportsmanlike conduct. We will see. I don't see it as bad, because all I was doing was breaking the toe. But we'll see how the moderator sees it. Could this be another race where I feel like I've driven an absolute blinder and the moderator goes, nope, you're not allowed this one either. You're not allowed this one. So, the key is to be quick enough and safe enough to be there at the end. The market would definitely be niche. I also imagine recreating some of the old tracks must be a challenge with a lack of data. Indeed it is. Or even make the cars behave like real deal due to lack of data and data going back then. But I'm talking out of my cluttery behind. I mean, we're certainly a little bit of a disadvantage with real life accounts of driving these cars, because I believe no one is still living that competed in '67, because I think John Surtees has passed away, isn't he? I think he was the last living one from '67. So first-hand accounts are gone. What is left, though, is data. So some of these cars still exist. Some of them are still running, because some of them compete in historic series, which I still don't know how they are able to do that with safety standards and stuff. Whether it's like, you compete in these cars at your own risk, kind of thing. But you're exactly right. It would be niche, which is what this game was in 1998. In 1998, those 67 cars were already 30 years old. Oh, Jackie X is still alive, yeah. Because he takes part in Goodwood. Was Jackie X 67 though? Or was he 70? Maybe he was 67. Okay. So there is probably one surviving member of 67. Oh, dearie me. Don't want to be doing that too often. Particularly with 2 laps to go. You don't want to throw your podium down the Swanee. So there is the problem of whether this would appeal, and I think this game kind of appeared at a time when there was nothing like it. It went full on hardcore. It went full on in period. There was no UI. There was no. It just went full beans into immersing you into the '67 series. It wasn't a commercial success, and the fact that they probably recouped their losses with subsequent NASCAR games, which is how they were able to keep going as Papyrus. But this was basically a commercial loss, and it only gained a cult following, but a cult following doesn't fund subsequent games, because when people investors and people put in the money behind these games, or the publishers would always go, yeah, but what did it make in the first 2 weeks? That's what I'm basing my decision on, to invest in putting my money towards this, because I want to put my money towards this, and I want a return on my investment. Investors want, believe it or not, they want to earn money. So they would definitely need to know, yeah, did it do well in the first few weeks or months or whatever? And games like this never really do. They're a slow burn. Investors don't want to hear about, oh, it's still around after so many years. Yeah, but how much money is it making? That's what they want to know. They only speak in money. So to market it would be very, very difficult. Obviously, you would obviously have problems grabbing licenses for cars this old. You would probably have arguments with the FOM or whoever owns the rights to cars this old. You couldn't brand it as F1, let's just put it that way, but you could brand it as Grand Prix cars. And the fact that lots of even modern sims have got around the F1 license by licensing from the cars themselves, or the manufacturers themselves. Like Assetto Corsa was able to get a few 70s Ferraris and 60s Ferraris. A lot of the companies are defunct. They are probably owned by Audi, as most things are. So yeah, it's about kind of tracking down who holds the license for. So that's a problem. I suppose the up and down nature of each season as well. And the fact that there's probably not a lot of these from the 60s up to the 80s. It's going to be very hard to find cars that are still in. Well, they're not going to be racing. They might be show cars. They might still run. So it would have to be done by the numbers and by feel, I think. But here we are, 3rd place. Do we get to put our hand up? Are we pleased with that one? No hand up? No? No hand up? Is that it? Now, you just watch the moderator take my podium away. Do we get to do donuts? Do we do donuts? Nope, still no donuts. Still no donuts. We just quietly stopped the car and went, that'll do, pig, that'll do. Okay, let's see what the moderator has to say with that. Let's see. Right, we want that. Okie dokie. Right. Mexico City. 2nd place. 2nd place. We've been promoted. So we beat that Cooper. There's probably a penalty further down. Let's have a look. Right. There's nothing. That's a bit odd. It's either we didn't spot in the last couple of laps that he dropped behind, because I beat him by 6 seconds. So maybe he did have a spin, but he definitely didn't say second at the top bar. So, and then Steven Stradbroke ended up behind him as well. 6th to 2nd place. I would call that a success. But there's nothing. Oh, here we go. So, no, Tifosi 312 is not who I thought it was. Okay. Well, there you go. That's very kind of you, Terrifying Man Fork. Gifting a sub to Ben, one of my moderators. Good stuff. Now that I've probably got the things sorted out with Twitch, because they were moaning at me that I hadn't able to update my payment method because of there was taxes and stuff. They were having to redo. Finger slipped like 4 times in a row. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support. What was I going to say? Nope, can't remember. It'll probably come to me randomly. So, okay, final round. Final round of season 9. So our next round is Zeltweg. It's Osterreichring. Let's just say that. Let's have a look. So this is the 14th of September, 2009. 2004. 14th of September, 2004. So, now you can normally tell. I mean, all of the services have been saying update your tax information. So it's something in the US. Maybe it's the change of president or something that they've got to update all of their tax stuff. I don't know. Because normally the things like this are all US-based companies. So the length of the replay normally tells you what has happened. So 106 probably means that I finished the race, which is good. I've no idea what this track is going to look like. But it is definitely Spielberg. So that's the up the hill towards turn 1. So it's the 1970s version, so I believe there won't be a chicane in it. I believe. We decided to take a Cooper. Interesting. Considering most of the circuit is flat out. Interesting choice. The Steven Spielberg, yeah, exactly. It's got a nice hills and clouds. So if we squint, we can see the flag man up there. Right, so we're not going to be very good with knowing whoever is in here. So we qualified way down the order. Way down the order. So from what we know, this is probably 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. This is probably 6th place. So Rick Bryant in a Cooper. Then we've got Paul Skingley in a Ferrari. We must have had a right mare being back here, so maybe taking the Cooper. Because I don't think you can redo your car choice. I think you have to join and then you have to race it. So it looks like someone modded Morrowind into a racing game. Yeah, this track came out in 2001. So I think the graphic updates for the cars are actually newer than the track. So there's that. We've got Steve Smith in his trusty Cooper, and we've got Baz West in his trusty Honda. We then got me. So 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Then Martin Portman behind me in a Cooper. Kev Williams is up front in a Lotus. Okay, let's see what happens. See how much wheel spin we get. That was not too bad. We're going to pass the Honda off the line. It's getting a bit close up front. Oh, no. I saw that was bound to happen. Let's have a look at that. So you see the judgment there. So we come off the line. I can't see them, but they can definitely see each other. Right, so is it going to be Stephen Strudwick? Exactly. Right, so it's Ian Pollock, who sometimes has a bit of a lack of awareness. So, to his right is Rick Bryant. Behind him is Paul Skingley. Right, let's look at it from Paul, I think. So, there is a reason. So, Paul tries to come up the outside. He's trying to fit into a very, very small gap. Now, that looks like a touch to me. Don't you think? That looks like a little bit of a touch. So that might be a lag touch. So that pushes the Brabham to the side, because you see he's already trying to counter steer it. If it was like him just steering, I wouldn't kind of think that he would be going like one way and then kind of coming back with the other. So that looks like a lag touch to me, and Rick Bryant is just the innocent bystander, unfortunately. But that gives me a place. So we left the line in 9th. We're going to overtake a Cooper up the inside, but we're going to run a little wide. Right, it's technically the racing line. Paul Skingley is having all kinds of trouble. Right, off we go. So, we've got 16 laps of this track. So we are chasing Paul Skingley. There's going to be an accident up there, isn't there? Going to be an accident. They're all over the road. Whoa. Bit slippy around that corner. The racing line's over here, boys. Do you want to use it? We've got some Lotuses and some Ferraris having a ding-dong battle up there. Kind of works to our advantage if we can keep up. But so what Cooper is following us? We've got Steve Smith following us in the Cooper. Oh no, that's tighter than we thought it was. That's what she said. Got away with it though. I mean, that turn is definitely less radius than the. Whoa! 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 No! If we had been on the racing line, we would have missed him. Unfortunately, we didn't. So we were up to 7th, but we dropped down again. Unfortunately, got caught up in that. So the modern versions of this track, in modern sims, I should say, is definitely a bit more sweepy than this. Yeah. I mean, in the actual game when you're driving, it does actually do the hand animation, but it doesn't do it in replays. Which, I mean, for 1998, that was a good touch. You've obviously got the. Oh, there's a car off. Don't come back onto the track. Don't come back on the track. Don't come back on the track. I gained against the Brabham there. So we're probably up to 6th place after all this mess. The nice touch in Grand Prix Legends was that you can put your hand up, right? Now I think normally the hand up is your right hand. Now the touch I'm talking about is that if you put your hand up, your gear shifter is disabled. So it's like you can't gear shift if you've got your hand up at the same time. Which makes sense, doesn't it? But there are some cars where the gear shifter's on the left-hand side. So can you gear shift with your hands up with those cars? Did they make that? So there was a car stopped on the outside there. That is a horrible bump coming over the hill. Right, so Kev Williams leads with a 1:45.05 fastest lap. We are in the 1:57s. But we did... Whoa! We didn't get our braking right for that turn. We did have a spin the last. My fastest lap time was a 1:54. We are 9 seconds off the pace. I don't think we've really had a cleanish lap yet. But I'm possibly going to gain on this Honda in front from the pit stops. And this Brabham we're going to gain on too, because they're going to stop for longer than we are. This turn is definitely tighter in Grand Prix Legends than it is in any other game. Oh, hanging onto it out of the final turn. Try to go defensive, give him a car's width, but no. We just lost all momentum. There are some horrible bumps on the transitions in this track. I'm too European to fathom a left-hand side gear shifter. Yep. Believe it or not, we drive on the right-hand side in the UK. Or do we? Am I remembering wrong? We do drive on the right-hand side. I don't drive cars myself, so I don't know. I see some of the discourse sometimes of people won't like driving cars that that's not on the side that they drive in real life. They'll whinge and go, oh, but this car has a right-hand drive rather than a left-hand drive, which is what I use, etc. So we drive on the left, but our cars are right-hand drive, I think. So we passed a Honda. We are now up to 6th place, which after all that melee at the start, we've dropped back quite a lot. So who are we chasing? We are chasing the person that caused all the melee at the start, Mr. Ian Pollock. So it looks like you've got some fake shadows on the ground from all those trees, I think. It does look a little weird. Yeah. I mean, it's always a bit strange when I'm playing like games like Euro Truck Sim and stuff, where you can swap the driving position. I mean, if you mostly drive in Europe, you might as well put your cab over to the left-hand side. But if you're transitioning from the UK to European cities, then it's sometimes a little strange being on the right-hand side. Oh, can't get off the barrier. There we go. I'm not having a good time in that last turn. In fact, that's not the last turn. Lucky disarm code to save us, really. It still says I'm in 7th place for some reason. These track cameras are not very good, are they? Oh, that made me look like I was coming off the side of the track. Definitely an old looking track. What you'll find as well, some of the add-on tracks for Grand Prix Legends, there isn't very good smooth transitions between, I was going to say verticality, but altitude. So sometimes it can be very sudden coming over a crest. So if you've got a really sharp crest, it will be even sharper in this game. Unless the person making the track has put lots of track segments in, which sometimes they do not. Round we go! Damn it, we're going to let a Honda through. I think only one car ever did the driving seat position correct. The McLaren F1 in the middle. Exactly. There's a newer car. I think it's the oh god, I forgot. It's the car that Dario Franchitti runs on the Goodwood Hill climb, where the driver was in the position in the middle, but the passengers sit either side of him. So they're like kind of going like a triad formation kind of thing. Ooh, no! I think we scared ourselves then in braking. We scared ourselves. Got a big gap to the cars behind though. So I believe we're down to 7th place and we're probably not going to gain an awful lot. So my fastest lap is a 1:48, so we're only 4 seconds off the pace. But we've not been getting very many clean laps in, so we're not really going to end the season with a bang, are we? But I think we started around 9th, 10th, I think. So we're possibly going to go forwards, but if we keep falling off the track... Oh! Don't want to do that. Maybe I should have taken my Ferrari for the last time. Don't know really. I can't remember actually looking back at the intervals between cars too much. I know that a lot of races were very spaced out in their finishes, but that was mainly due to reliability and things like that. You would think that, you know, a lot of these cars from back then wouldn't even finish many of the races just because of pushing the envelope with mechanical motorsport, but obviously the threat of death was real. We're coming into the pits, I think. No, we're not. We're going to do the opposite of Baz. Because the likelihood is, if you... Oh, we've beaten a Ferrari out the pits. The likelihood is, if he's pitting, then I could be near him in the pits, which would make it harder to get into the pits. Maybe that's my reasoning. We're back to 6th place, I believe. Well, no, we're probably 5th now. We passed that Ferrari and we're... What is it with this turn? What is it with this turn? So what Ferrari did we pass then? Noel Kellett. That's the guy that we beat at Watkins Glen. We are really struggling on the brakes in this Cooper. I've seen some of these cars in real life, in museums and things. I've definitely seen the BRM. I saw a friend sit in it, which is kind of funky. I think I've seen a Lotus 49. Can't remember. But it's very hard to know whether there are like cars from that era on display, or whether they're even in this country, because they probably won't be. It says 7th on the road. No, it's gone up to 5th. Just changed. I'm definitely struggling in this on this track surface. These sweeping turns, I'm not agreeing with this Cooper. So, half distance, lap 9 of 16. I'm intrigued though about that Mexico race. I may look at the lap chart to see what did happen with the positions, because I was quite shocked to end up in 2nd place. Ooh, Noel has got that corner all wrong. Maybe that scared me off the road there. But this section seems a little less flow to it than... I mean, you can't really guarantee that the version that they have in the first Automobilista and now the second, can you guarantee that they were able to fight? Oh dear, dear, oh dear, dear. Sorry, Noel. Sorry. Got caught up in my accident then. It's lucky I didn't land on my head. I think I've crashed every other lap at that last corner. Maybe I should be letting him by, I don't know. That's probably a racing incident though. I just got it all wrong again. So we've got a Lotus in the background, which I presume is going to be first place coming back to... So that's Andy Harrison. Wherever Andy Harrison was at the start, I don't know. We're up to 4th place through the pit stops. Could this be a round where the Cooper does not have to pit? Because it has happened. Now, did I just let Noel through? That seemed a bit too easy, didn't it? Maybe I felt bad. Maybe my conscience was calling. But where do you think I'm going to be in the championship? Do you reckon I'm in the top 10 in the championship? I've only had a couple of podiums. The rest have either been at the tail end of the top 10. I reckon we're going to be around about the top 10-ish. This Lotus is just going to breeze past us. If you're going to pass me, you're going to do it around the outside. Or not. I didn't want to be on the inside into turn 1. Oh, scary. I mean, the fact that it's lap 11 and I haven't pitted... leads me to suggest that... I mean, I did go for a pit stop when I was around that Honda, so maybe I do have to. At least do a stop and go or something. You're going to go round me, you're going to have to go the long way round. This is real people back in 20 years ago. Oh, they just breezed past me. These were my first online races. We're having a go back at the Lotus. What's going on? So we drop back to what I believe is 6th place. We just seem to be overdriving. So old you forgot what happened. Well, can you remember? Races from 20 years ago? I mean, I vaguely remember some of the stuff that happened, but only because it was like controversial stuff. But each race is like 40 minutes long. I'm not going to know what exactly happened in each one. There's a minimum of 6 rounds per season, and I did 9 seasons. So I've done a lot of sim racing since to fill up the memory banks. So, but this was my baptism into online racing all those years ago. Online racing apparently did exist 20 years ago. Even though some people seem to believe that the online racing now is like the, you know, round we go again. This is prime Woody. Well, I'm not at my best. Particularly at this track in this car, it seems. Spinning every second lap. I believe I've got better. At least I would hope I've got better. So, you know, the reason why I was looking at these replays was like, I wanted to see if I'd actually improved, or you know, what was the standard of driving back then. You were dealing with a completely different way of driving in online racing, because you obviously had to give a lot of drivers a bit more of space, so you don't have netcode getting involved. I am really not liking that final turn, am I? Because it could be touchy. There would be a lot of times that simple contact would mean that either car could retire from it. It was only when the original R Factor came out, was when you could actually maybe rub door panels without bad things happening, you know? So you get the occasional incident when the wheels will tangle and they'll get vaulted over each other, but when you have wheel-to-wheel contact, and games don't generally have the damage model that would have pieces break off. And I mean, as well, there's no kind of real scenario to base a crash between cars of this era, because I believe back then they would have given each other quite a lot of leeway as well. They'd be competitive. Ooh, got that all wrong. Is this Noel Kellett? It is Noel Kellett. We still haven't pitted. It's lap 13 of 16. We're going shallow here. Does this mean we're coming into the pits? No. We're going to clog the barrier. We're still not pitting. Look at the horrible nip mapping. Ugh. Ugh. Yuck. Oh. Oh, how close. How close was I? How close was I? That's squeaky bum time. Right, coming over the crest, seeing a car that's kind of half sideways, and then coming in myself. Right, okay. What do you do? Where do you go? Where do you go? Yikes! It's very... I mean, you have to make some kind of decision. If a car is not kind of pointing any particular way, you're like, well, where do you go? Here, you might think, well, this car's spinning, it's going to spin to the outside, so you want to go right. And then it spins, and it stays where it is, and you're like, where do I go? There's no room over there. There's no room over there, is there? Is it going to spin back this way? There's no room there, and there's no room there. Oh no, it's coming back towards me. Bollocks! I mean, there was space there on the right. You wouldn't have been able to get around there at this speed, I don't think. I was so lucky. So lucky I wasn't netcoded into oblivion. Wow. How did I get away with that? We gained a place out of it, but... I mean, we were turning and braking at the same time. It's not like I could suddenly jolt to either one side. Very tricky. If you were avoiding that on a straight, it might have been a bit easier. But avoiding it when you're constantly turning? That was squeaky bum time, that was. Are we somehow in 6th place? How is that possible? We've been doing so badly. And we still have a pit stop to come. I wouldn't worry, Noel. You're going to get the place back at some point, because I'm going to spin. Let me set it to the other camera, because that's a bit better. Are we going to pit? It's lap 14 of 16. Are we coming into the pits? Nope. Are we leaving it to the last opportunity to come into the pits? So we've got one car behind. That's Noel right there. And then the other Cooper is... Ooh, we may just get out in front of Martin Portman. We are somehow up to 5th place. No, 7th place. 5th? 7th? No, can't read it. 7th, I think. He did say 5 the last. Oh, no, 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 no. I was braking there. You can't do that. Was I moving under braking? I'm braking. I can't brake any later than that. He just completely got misjudged by where I had to brake. Yikes! Normal services resumed. I wonder what the admin's going to say about that one. That means that Martin Portman has got a little closer. Not good. Come into our turn, which we absolutely hate. The Ferrari has gone round behind, so we may stay ahead of it. Oh, no, we weren't watching where we were going. Are we going to pit on the last lap? Or are we not going to pit at all? If the physics are so accurate, your tyre must have even launched his car up on top of you. Oh, yeah. In many of these incidents, I would have died. I mean, I've already rolled it, so I would have died in the first few laps. Going back to the idea of having a historic sim, it would need to have something really unique in order to attract a young crowd, because you're not going for an age range that's in the teens, so you're not going like 16 to 24. You're aiming for people in their 30s and above. Oh. Is that because people have finished the race, or...? Apparently so, that's because people have finished the race. It doesn't really help us though, does it? Flying the white flag and then the blue flag and the yellow flag. What? Race isn't over, marshals. I've still got to finish. Are we gonna pit on the last turn? We're not pitting at all. Interesting. Have I forgotten something? Okay. Right, what are the admins going to say about that race? I believe I finished in 7th, rather. Let's have a look. Alright, so... Zeltweg. Philip Harris comes away with the win. He started 4th. The leader, Kevin Williams, he's in a Lotus. He started 1st, ended up 2nd, 9 seconds down the road. So I did end up 5th. Which, considering all of what happened in that race, it's a bloody miracle that I ended 5th. Everyone else must have had an absolute mare. But let's see. Paul Skingley moves to pass Bias on the left. Bias appears to move right to leave room. That's what... It looked like a touch to me, but I'm guessing that Ian... They judged it like Ian jolted to the right. And Rick Bryant takes avoiding action and spins out. The server replay shows no contact. So if Rick did feel a hit, I'd put it down to warp anyway. It looked like Ian jolted to the right, either through contact, and then just took out Rick. So, odd. Very, very odd. Paul Skingley rear ends Bias as they break over T1 crest. Enwood is unable to avoid Paul's spinning car. Paul Skingley retires. Enwood spins at the entry to the final corner, and Noel Keller is unable to avoid him. A racing incident. Yeah. Oh, I'm featuring a lot in this one. Enwood breaks at his usual place. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For T3, but is rear-ended by Noel Keller, who is not planning to brake for another 50 yards. Neither driver was particularly delayed by this accident. Neil was braking significantly earlier than he needed to, but was doing so consistently at this point. Yes, because I was crap at this track. And this would have been clear to Noel had he followed Neil for some time. However, Neil centre-lined the kink, leaving Noel nowhere to go to avoid him. Considering Neil's hesitancy, I have removed what otherwise would be a 2-place penalty to Noel for rear and shunt. Noel really didn't do anything wrong except being taken by surprise by Neil's early braking. I mean, I was bad at this track. Very bad at this track. But being rear-ended because someone can't judge someone else's braking, it shouldn't be blamed in the car in front, shouldn't it? Unless it's too egregious, you know? But there you go. That's season over. So where do you think I finished in the championship? Where do you think I finished in the championship? So that round was 14th of September 2004. Where do you think I finished? Now, I don't know. So this is completely up to you guys, where you think. So I'll put it in perspective. I'll run down where I did finish. So basing it off points, I believe there's only points up until 10th place. So first round I finished 17th. Round 2 I finished in 10th place. So that's probably 1 point. Maybe that sim could feature historic information on the race drivers and cars of that era. Might pique interest in players who are unfamiliar. Well, being an encyclopedia of motorsport would be good. Top 10, maybe 8th. Ooh. So round 2. So round 3. I was 6th. So that's a 10th and a 6th so far. That's a points paying position. I didn't take part in this round, so I've missed 2 rounds so far. So bear that in mind. And then we got Mossport, which is round 5, where I finished in 10th place, so that's another point. And then comes the utter shit show that was Monza, where I finished last, 14th, so there's no points for that. So I've had 3 point scoring races so far, and we're at what? This is round 7 coming up. A 2nd place at Watkins Glen. A 2nd place at Mexico City. And a 5th place at Zeltweg or Österreichring. So you think maybe 8th? Interesting. Right, so there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe there is a dropped score in this. Can we look at the scoring? No, all rounds count. Well, bollocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Scored down to 14th place. So I did score a couple of times. So even though I finished last at Monza, I still scored. Right, we're not in the top 4. We're in the top 6. We're in the top 6. How about that? And we didn't even turn up for 2 rounds. How about that? I think it's because everyone else had a shocker. So if you look at people below, it must be a bit depressing for Rick Bryant because he scored in every single round and I did not, and I still finish ahead of him. I did get 6 penalty points though. That's not good. But I wasn't the worst. Stephen Stradbury got 8. Dave Taylor got 10. So I had 3 rounds where there was some kind of incident. But a lot of, again, like Baz, he still finished every single race, but finished below. I was only 2 points behind Ian. But the fact that he won. If I turned up for those 2 rounds, maybe I would have been further up the field. But 6th place isn't bad, is it? Not too bad. So does that mean I get promotion next season? Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. So we're going to be on season 10 next time. I'm going to save this to my favourites. Right. I don't get promoted. Division 2. I'm still in Division 2 in Season 10. So the moderator is going to be Alan Walker. Race reviewers are going to be Paul Smith and Nat Wild. Now, I think I was able to... at this point in 2004, I was... I'd been to Goodwood a couple of times. And I'd had met Nathan Wild, or Nathan Wald. I don't know how you pronounce it. So there is that. Drivers have free choice of chassis for each race, although the use of single chassis all season is encouraged. Car performance will be levelled by compulsory pit stops with stoppage times as per Division 1. So drivers in standings. Okay, we're going to try not to spoil ourselves. So we've got Kyle Army. So our first round for season 10 is going to be the 12th of December 2004. Second round is going to be Zandvoort in 2005. And then we've got Spa. Then we've got Monaco. Oh, my favourites. Then we've got Rouen, Silverstone, Nordschleife, Mosport, Zeltweg. We got 2 add-on tracks and Aintree. Ooh. Wait, UKGPL says that guy Ben Welling Summers drove in Division 2. Ooh, I can't wait. Can't wait. Okie doke. Right, so I'm trying not to spoil myself. Right, we're going to add this to our favourites. I tried to find it, see if there was a Chrome extension or something to blank out a page so we could visit a page but without actually seeing it. Spoilers. Not to know, really. So let's move that stuff back to Season 9. Season 10. Right. I'm going to move the non-championship one out as well. I have, out of Season 10, I've got round 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have 5. I've got 6, 7, and 8. I haven't got the replays of the add-on tracks, unfortunately, which is a bit of a pain. I can't think that I only turned up for 7 rounds. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Yes, that's what I just read out. That was the rules. So, as I am thinking back, in 2004, because obviously the season ended in September. So, as I mentioned, there was something that happened in 2004, and I think it was probably very apt that the season stopped when it did, because in 2004 I had back surgery, which meant I had to take time off work, and I was at my parents' for a little while. I think that was around October 2004. So that was kind of well timed. I think I was back at work within 6 weeks. So bearing in mind, after that 6 weeks, the first round is going to be the 12th of the 12th. So it's going to be December. I'm just trying to think as well what I was doing at the time. So I'd moved out of I was in a flat on my own in 2004. Yeah, so 2005 is going to be very interesting. So the last round was May 15th, 2005. Okay. So next time we do this, I'm going to have 2005 stuff in my playlist. Because it's only our first round that's in 2004. So we will do that. And we'll probably do that either in the week or at the weekend coming up. So it's 3:30. That's given me quite a lot of time to figure out what I want to do for dinner and such. So yeah, that was it. It was quite depressing at the start of that season, but we ended off on some quite stellar results, I would say. Those second places I'm quite proud of. I had to work my way back up the field to grab the positions I had pre-pit stops. So there's a couple of good passing manoeuvres in there. So after some of the horrible rounds early on, I mean, the last round wasn't really much to sniff at. The fact that I came away with the 5th place is an absolute miracle. But I'm guessing a lot of other people must have had more trouble than me, because I was spinning every lap, or near enough every lap. So how I was able to get away with coming away with the fifth. Although I didn't have to slow down for a pit stop, so that probably aided my ability. So that's good.